good with names, but I'm fun at parties. Things are looking up now, aren't they? I should've cared, but I'm glad you noticed that
Coming to you from the University of Minnesota, Rochester, our town.
Every year, Rochester hosts more than 3 million visitors. That's almost 15 times the city's population. So it's no surprise why the visitor experience is a top priority for the community. Here to walk us through the ins and outs of providing the best visitor experience is Keeley Hruska, Director of Visitor Experience at Experience Rochester MN. Welcome to our town.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Oh, great. Well, you know all about visitors.
Yes.
So can you just tell us a little bit about who the visitors are? What do they look like? Where are they coming from?
Sure. Like you said, we hosted last year over 3 million visitors to Rochester. Nearly 70% of those visitors are here for Mayo Clinic. We also have 16% of our visitors are here for meetings, conventions, sports groups. We also have leisure travelers and business travelers. So it's a wide range. Rochester is very unique with the Mayo Clinic visitors consisting of the majority of the visitors.
And do you track how long they stay or the duration of the time that they're here?
We do, yes.
Okay. And how are you taking the pulse of what they want? How are you getting feedback about what they need?
What's important to us to get the feedback from visitors is having a strong partnership with our hospitality partners, so our hotels, our restaurants, our attractions, and having that constant communication with them to hear the feedback about what visitors want and need. We also have a survey. It's called myrochesterexperience.com. It's an ongoing online survey. We've had the survey out for 3 years. So we have 3 years of data telling us what visitors are wanting in Rochester and basically about their overall experience while they're in Rochester.
Well, that's fantastic. 3 years worth of data.
Yeah.
Are there some things that you're finding that are, what are you finding out?
Yeah, we're finding out a lot of great information. Positive information such as we're a welcoming and caring community. So I would say that Minnesota niceness is very true in Rochester. We create a welcoming experience to visitors. Visitors who are walking through the Skyway, we always talk about how if someone looks lost, they can always find someone to help them to get around. So that's one of the positive things. We're also ranking high on safety and cleanliness. That's also very important to visitors while they're here. So those are some of the top things that we've identified as great for our city.
Great. Are there any challenges or gaps in some of the things that are needed?
Certainly. We've identified a few gaps. So one of the things is wayfinding. So we've found through the survey that visitors sometimes are having a challenging time getting around, especially downtown, with some of the signage or whether or not the skyways and subways might be confusing. So we've identified that, and we've identified resources to help that score go up and improve the overall visitor experience.
Fantastic. And with a really cold snap like this week, I found myself walking around the Skyways and thinking, if I'm from out of town, how do I find resources to help me deal with what's going on, or even when it's not so cold, things to do in the wintertime? What resources are available?
Man, we have so many resources, I don't even know where to begin, but some of our top resources, we have our Experience Rochester magazine, and that is distributed throughout our hotels. It's in our skyways and subways. It's a great magazine that we also distribute throughout the state of Minnesota at travel information centers. It's a guide to things to do, restaurants, attractions, shopping, you name it. It's a great resource for visitors. We also have our community host volunteers who wear the green vests in the skyways and subways. And we're very appreciative of all the work and volunteer hours that they put in to help visitors navigate their way through downtown. Also, our website is another great resource, minnesotasrochester.com. It includes all of that information about things to do, places to visit. I would also encourage visitors and residents to check out our social media handles. We are very active on Instagram, Minnesotas_Rochester is our Instagram handle, so I encourage visitors to check that out. We also have our front office. So our office is located at the Mayo Civic Center on the 2nd floor, and we have staff who are readily available to answer questions. A lot of the calls that we receive are from Mayo Clinic patients, and it may be their first time visiting Rochester. So we provide information about getting here. So informing them that we have an airport and what to expect when they get into Rochester, how to get around, where to stay, that sort of thing. So we're always engaging with visitors that way too and hearing their feedback to know how to best serve them.
So a lot of different ways to get information. That's
Yes.
great and fantastic. You also have, I think, an ambassadors program. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, for sure. Our Certified Tourism Ambassador program, and it's been around since 2011. It's a wonderful program for anyone who wants to learn more about Rochester, who's new to Rochester. It's for the hospitality community, also for Mayo Clinic employees and volunteers. We encourage you to become a Certified Tourism Ambassador. We also call it CTA, and it's a two-part program. So once you sign up to become a CTA, you take a tour of Mayo Clinic and also a trolley tour of Rochester. And the goal of that is to let them know that what a patient might expect when they visit Rochester, what Mayo Clinic entails, and what attractions are available for visitors while they're here.
Oh, fantastic. As we're wrapping up here, I heard you know a really great place to get a warm drink and cozy up by the fire this winter. Can you let us know what that is?
Yeah, we have so many, but I would have to say my top would be mocha, my personal favorite. I love the black and white hot chocolate, so I'd recommend that. And check out our blog. We have wonderful posts with all of that information.
Well, thanks so much for joining us, Keeley.
Our Town is brought to you in part by the following amazing people and organizations.
The Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund and the citizens of Minnesota.
And the members of KSMQ Public Television. Thank you.
Be sure to stick around. We've got some great stories coming up next. We catch up with Chancellor Lori Carrell and what's new here at the University of Minnesota Rochester. And we help a comedian find some new material around town. But up first, we are going to take a trip among the stars at the Mayo High School Planetarium in this week's Our Culture segment.
My name is Paul Larson, and I am the Planetarium Director for the Rochester Public Schools. I work at the Mayo High School Planetarium in the Mayo High School. The Planetarium is a place where people can come and sit in a large domed room, and we're able to project the stars onto the ceiling. We're able to project planets, galaxies, the entire observable universe now in the Mayo High School Planetarium, so people can travel around the solar system here. So the Mayo High School Planetarium was built when the school was built back in 1966. So it is one of 3 school-based planetariums in the state of Minnesota, and this particular planetarium is the oldest continually run planetarium in the entire state of Minnesota. So it's been operating continuously since 1966. I really feel that having a planetarium is very important for students because being that gateway science, it allows students to become interested in other topics. So being able to study the planets of our solar system, the objects that are in our solar system, allows those students to be able to apply that back here on Earth so we understand the processes that happen on Earth. But then it also allows us to think of new technologies. So the technology that we'll need to live and work on Mars, that technology can then be applied right back here on Earth again. So I think it's very important to have this, the capability of taking classroom lessons that students learn on a flat board and then being able to come into the planetarium, seeing all of that math and science presented to them in real time, in real scale, so they can see the scale of all of it put together. And then it's, it's just very, very cool to have students come out of here with their minds blown about everything that they've been able to see in the planetarium. We can now network with planetariums all over the world. So 6 times now here at Rochester in the Mayo High School Planetarium, we've done lectures where we come in here, we listen to a scientist in Chicago give a lecture, and the technicians in Chicago actually control our planetarium, along with 20 other planetariums around the world. So now we're able to listen to those lectures without having to drive all the way to Chicago. So those have been very popular over the last year and a half here. We do lessons for the kindergarten all the way through high school, and then we also do lessons for the community. I do community education lectures where adults can come in and learn different topics. I also do lectures for preschool and grade school kids that can come in after hours. I think the people that are going to change the world are our children. And the way our children are going to change the world is through science and innovation. So if I can just turn on a couple students a year to the idea of science and technology, I think I'll have done a successful career. And the one turning point was during a presentation at St. Cloud State. Four-year-old little girl at the end of the presentation, she asked me, she said, "How are baby stars born?" And I realized that this is what I wanted to do, was be able to teach young kids about the stars and space in order to hopefully turn on a couple students to that science and technology, because they're the ones that are going to be changing the world. So that's the motivation behind doing it.
For more information about this story and other Our Town features, connect with us on Facebook, Twitter at KSMQ #OurTown, or ksmq.org/ourtown.
If you're a Disney fanatic, your favorite Disney movies are back in theaters this month. The Marcus Wernberg Theater is featuring classic Disney movies throughout February. The Disney Enchanted Tales film series features Lilo and Stitch, Tangled, and Beauty and the Beast. Each film is featured for one weekend, and this weekend, Lilo and Stitch is showing, so make sure to wrap up your family and enjoy a cozy day at the movies. More details at marcustheaters.com. And if you're like me and you love food and cultural exploration, join Taiwan food blogger Choo Choo Kachu at Old Abe Coffee Company for an authentic and interactive Chinese dumpling or jiaizi making party. Get your hands doughy with the Choo Choo Kachu team while they school you in a little Chinese New Year tradition, vegan style. A sampling of Chinese adult beverages will accompany the meal along with some traditional Chinese snacks, all while mingling with new acquaintances. And of course, you'll get to eat the vegan jiaizi. Check out Old Abe's Facebook page for more information. And believe it or not, Socialize is next weekend, just in time for another cold snap. Rochester's Ice Bar transforms the Peace Plaza into an outdoor ice bar experience. There are 7 12-foot-long, uniquely designed and themed ice bars, lighting effects, live DJ entertainment, nightly and life-sized ice sculptures. Socialize is open February 7th to the 9th, so check it out at downtownrochestermn.com for everything you want to know. And the Riverside Concerts will get you in the rhythm with some amazing drums on Friday, February 22nd. This production showcases the perpetual creative evolution of taiko performing arts ensemble Kodo. Explore the limitless possibilities of the traditional Japanese drum, the taiko. Kodo is forging new directions for a vibrant living art form. In Japanese, the word kodo conveys 2 meanings. Firstly, it means heartbeat, the primal source of all rhythm. The sound of the great taiko is said to resemble a mother's heartbeat as felt in the womb. Secondly, read in a different way, the word can mean children of the drum, a reflection of Kodo's desire to play the drum simply with the heart of a child. The tickets are available at riversideconcerts.com. And sometimes it's fun to take a walk in someone else's shoes to gain a new perspective. We wander the skyways with visiting comedian Danny Browning in this week's Walkabout segment.
Headliner tonight has been on Laughs on Fox. He's also been on the Discovery Channel, and he is here from Southern Indiana. Please welcome to the stage, Danny Browning.
Yes, it's good to be here, Rochester. Friday night. Yes. Here's how crazy cold it is here. Before I got here today, I was completely clean shaven. This only happened. I've come to Rochester a lot. I've been here we're probably in the 12th, 13th time over the years. I've spent many a day walking through the cold downtown streets of Rochester. It's always a good vibe when I come here. Here we are walking in the Rochester skyways. La. The thing I love most about performing, I would say, is still just hearing the laughter, getting the reaction. It's good to be here. You might hear a little twang in my voice. Don't be alarmed. I'm from Indiana. As Lindsay said, I grew up in the southern part of that state in a little town called Floyd's Knobs. Born and raised, Floyd's Knobs, Indiana. And my life has sucked ever since. Yeah. The audience here in Rochester is patient and accepting, welcoming. It's always like, thank you for being here. We're happy to laugh in this moment. That could be the Minnesota kind thing. There's two types of people that live in this great state. Type A, people who are born here, whose families are born here. Your roots are here. This is your home. Type B, people who are running from the law. And the people who are laughing know someone who is.
The University of Minnesota Rochester is hosting its 4th annual Healthcare Scholars Day. UMR Chancellor Dr. Lori Carrell is here to tell us about this very special celebration. Thanks for joining us today.
Oh, I'm so glad to have your interest.
Can you tell us how this program got started?
Well, our faculty do research on what helps students succeed. And one of those factors is the students' resilience as they're coming in. And we found that's a great predictor of success if they've gone through a challenge in childhood or adolescence and persevered, and maybe the challenge was even a catalyst for their desire for a career in health. And so we began to give our scholarships based on students' resilience. And we do it in a very creative way.
That's great. Can you tell us what are some of the eligibility requirements for the scholarship?
Yes, the students need to be admitted, so they are academically very capable. They're coming straight from high school, and they have written an essay describing their passion for a career in health, for making a difference somehow in the world in health, and the catalyst for that passion. Then a committee looks over all the essays and narrows it, and that is really hard work. Sure. But gets to a few students who are able to come and share their stories.
What a powerful opportunity for storytelling.
Yes.
How long has this been going on? Are there certain students or scholars and their stories that stick out in your mind?
Oh, there are many. So this will be our 4th annual, and the students get 3 minutes to share their story. They also go through an interview process, and we have faculty and staff who are judges, and it's a really wonderful time. But I do remember the very first year, and my job then as Vice Chancellor was to moderate the story sharing panel and to try to calm the nerves of the students and make things flow. And what I ended up also needing to do was go and get a couple more boxes of Kleenex for the faculty and staff judges, because the stories are so heartwarming and inspirational to know what 17 and 18-year-olds have persevered through and how they've developed resilience and how now they want to make a difference in the world. It's just one of the best days of the year at UMR.
That's fantastic. Are other students invited to come and hear those stories, or other members of the community?
There are former recipients of the scholarships who help us with that day, and we have those students now currently studying here in the waiting rooms before the students are going to tell their story or going into their interview, to talk with them about their experiences here at UMR.
That's lovely. So how much are these scholarships worth, and what is their duration?
It ranges. So we have some scholarships as low as $1,000 and some up to $5,000 and in between. And I just need to mention how grateful we are to both the donors who are community members who have invested in these students, and also to the University of Minnesota as a system who is investing in these students.
Are there any limits to in terms of what the scholarships can be used for? I mean, how does this particular scholarship help them throughout their time here at UMR?
The scholarship does go toward their tuition, and of course tuition is a challenge for all students and their families, and so that is really the first need.
So what else is happening at UMR? So you've got this great day coming up tomorrow. What else is looking, are you looking forward to this semester?
Well, now that we've thawed out, there are a couple of really big things going on. One of them that makes me glad you've asked this question is that next week I'll be presenting on behalf of the whole campus and the community to the Board of Regents the plans for scaling the University of Minnesota Rochester campus in enrollment while sustaining the success that we've seen so far. So that's next Thursday, and we've called that presentation and project the Bluff Top View Project.
Okay.
As we look out into the distance to see a breathtaking vista.
Dreaming big.
That's right. And then climb back down the bluff and get started on the next part of the journey toward that beautiful destination.
And can you give us a little sense of how long that scaling process is going to take? Is it going to be a phased process, or?
It is going to be a phased process. Over the next 3 years, we'll be ramping up for a significant increase in enrollment, and then we'll stop and take stock and be reflective, and then go on to the second stage, where there'll be another assessment and reflection process before the final stage.
Fantastic. Anything else happening?
Well, I understand that there are a couple of us who are going to be attempting some footwork
You
in
took the
ca-
question right out of my
So
leave
we
the best
are
for last.
competitors.
We are, but,
Yeah.
but colleagues actually.
That's right. So for Dancing for the Arts, somehow we have both been persuaded to move not only our mouths but our feet.
Yes,
at
well,
this
it'll be
April.
exciting. We should work something out.
Yes, I look forward to learning.
And I mean that cause is for the arts. And
Yes.
do you have any personal stories about your commitment to the arts, or ways that UMR has been involved in the arts in the community?
Yes, interestingly, while we're focused on science academically, our students are very much interested also in the arts. And it's a subset of the students, but I had the fun opportunity of taking all the first-year students to see Shrek the Musical this fall, and at the intermission, a whole group came to me and asked, can we do a musical? Can we plan something to be expanded in the arts? So we are partnering with the Civic Theater, we're partnering with the Arts Center. There are several adventures in the arts in process, and Humanities in Medicine at Mayo has been central to those efforts over the years, but we're really expanding that. Personally, I was involved in the arts by performing in the Stay With Me a While production at the Civic, and that kind of rejuvenated my own interest in all that sort of creativity can bring to the quality of life.
That's fantastic. I think that's something, I mean, we're here in a city of health, but there's also a lot of arts and cultural things that are going on, and your students are coming from all over the country to be here to get a health sciences education, and to be here in this city of healthcare, but also to be part of this arts and culture community.
That's right, and we really see the arts as part of well-being, which is a focus for us. With our students studying health, we think we need to have the integrity to pursue our own wellness, and with students who are so driven and high achieving, it can really take effort to design a day, a schedule, a life that includes other aspects so that they can be well.
Certainly.
So the arts is a route to that.
And that reminds me of the first point that you talked about with resilience. And I mean, what other programs are available for students to really help them throughout the time that they're here, to really support their well-being, their mental health, and to grow that resilience?
We have for each student a life coach. We call them the Student Success Coaches, and that is a relationship that lasts the whole 4 years. And within those conversations, the student and the coach look at the student's well-being. We have a well-being framework and statement, and they check in periodically about progress toward various facets, whether it's spiritual and they're looking for purpose in life, or physical. We have students who have to learn to cook coming here, and the nutrition aspect of well-being is also paramount. So that coach is really central to promoting those kinds of conversations. But we also have a living learning community. We've talked about those before, but the covenant-based communities where students hold one another accountable and create a sense of belonging and also lead on a particular topic of interest to the whole student body. And one of those is our healthy living community. And so they are not only role models, but they host programming related to student well-being. And there are many other endeavors on this campus, but we try to serve carrots more frequently than cookies. But
carrots can be delicious too.
I know, those cookies from downstairs do smell good though.
They certainly do. Are there any final thoughts you have as we're wrapping up here about things you're looking forward to once it warms up in the spring?
Yeah, well, we're just very excited about tomorrow and the students who will be joining us. They are the best of the best in spirit and in mind, and we're honored to have them on campus. As we move forward through the spring, the culmination of the semester includes a research symposium and the opening of One Discovery Square. So I just can't describe what I'm more excited about,
well, great things
but it's a
ahead.
great semester.
Wonderful. Well, best of luck tomorrow with that powerful event that you have,
Yes.
and we're here, so we're always going to be interested in what you're doing, so thanks a lot for joining us today.
And thank you for being here. We like having you on campus.
And thank you for joining us today. Be sure to check out all the great events that are happening this weekend as well as next week with Socialize. And we will be back next week from the University of Minnesota Rochester. This is Our Town, the show about Rochester.